The 2026 South Atlantic Conference Baseball Championship Series continues on this afternoon. Game 2 between the top-seeded Catawba Indians against the second-seeded Wingate Bulldogs. One side, Catawba needs one victory to be SAC tournament champions and do the double for a second straight year. And Wingate is hoping it's a long day here at McCrary Park, needing 2 victories over Catawba today. Good afternoon from McCrary Park here in Asheboro, North Carolina, for what should be a fantastic and beautiful day for baseball to bring the South Atlantic Conference season to a close. Yesterday's Game 1 and series opener of this championship series had just about everything. Both teams went back and forth all afternoon. Catawba struck back in the opening inning. Hunter Atkins hit one of 3 Catawba home runs to help the top seed jump out in front 3-1 after an inning. But next half inning, the Bulldogs tied it right back up at 2. Reed Benamonte, one of his 2 hits was a 2-run single to make it a 3-all game. The SAC Player of the Year had his hand and a say in the win for the Indians. He gave them a 4-3 lead with a solo home run in the 4th inning. And then how about Will Farrell, just his 6th start of the year. He goes yard, and the Bulldogs took a 5-4 lead in the 6th inning for what many thought could be the final turn. But Catawba had a quick answer, as they did all afternoon. Nathan Chrisman, a bases-loaded sacrifice fly, knotted the score at 5 after 6 innings. Good pitching from Chad Harvey, got out of that jam in inning number 6. And then from there, it was all about the relief pitcher. Seth Sharp was perfect, 3 1/3 scoreless, and that set up Malachi Cloud, who homered in his 2nd straight conference tournament game, to go yard and be the walk-off hero for Jim Gant's club in a 6-4 walk-off style victory. The 2nd walk-off win for Catawba this tournament season. The Indians are 4-0 now in conference tournament play. Catawba, Wingate, the 2nd game of the series here from McCrary Park. We're moments away. We'll hear from Wingate head coach Jim Gant on the other side of this break. This is the SAC Championship Series on Flow College. Andrew Rogers, glad to welcome you back to Asheboro, North Carolina, here at McCrary Park, home of the SAC Baseball Championship Series for the 3rd straight year, as Catawba and Wingate continue to get moments away from first pitch in the 2nd game of this championship series. Catawba is trying to hunt down a 10th tournament title and a 2nd straight tournament title, while Wingate is going for a 9th and trying to win their 2nd in the last 3 seasons. Neither side deserved to lose yesterday's game. 6-5 was the final with that walk-off win by Catawba. How does Wingate respond today? Our second member of our team, Rayanna DeCrow, caught up with Wingate head coach Jeff Gregory prior to today's game.
Here on Sports with Jeff Gregory ahead of Game 2 of the South Atlantic Conference Championship. Coach, tough way to lose a ball game yesterday. Just what was the message to your guys overnight and then coming into today?
I just told them afterwards. I thought they played wonderfully. I thought it was a really good game. I thought our pitching did a great job. I thought defensively we were really, really good. I thought we had some really clutch at bats, some really good at bats, and I thought we played great baseball. And they executed on one end of it, and that's how sometimes games end, and it just was a good baseball. And so across the board, it just was an awesome baseball game. We just came up on one end, but they beat us. and that's okay. We just got to come out with the same mentality today, the way we played yesterday.
Yeah, backs against the wall. How do you come out on top of this one now being the home team in this game?
You just can't worry about that. You got to worry about playing the 60 feet 6 inches, the 90 feet. Take care of that. You can't control the environment that you're in, but you can control how you play the game. And so it's just about focusing on that part of it and let it take care of itself.
Jeff Gregory, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rihanna, and thanks to both head coaches, Coach Gant yesterday of Catawba and Coach Gregory today for catching up with us prior to today's contest and yesterday's game as well. Both teams have had some terrific performances in that first game and all tournament long. For Wingate, Bowen Powell was a big contributor in yesterday's game. He went 2 for 5 with both of his base hits coming in quality innings for the Bulldogs, a third inning single and a ninth inning single that helped load the bases and put pressure on Catawba in yesterday's ninth inning. Bowen Powell hitting third again in this lineup for Wingate today. He'll certainly need to have a quality day at the plate for a freshman hitter that's hit above 370 all season long. For Catawba, another multi-hit day. This one came from Hunter Atkins. He went 2 for 4 and drove in 3 runs in yesterday's victory. 2 for 4 was Atkins, the cleanup hitter. With that 3-run blast helping start the scoring for Catawba, he drove in half the team's runs with that swing out to left center field yesterday. Both these teams have a whole host of all-conference players. Atkins, one of those for Catawba, one of 6 in the lineup, and certainly him and Brandon Crabtree and Sam Hunter in that heart of the order will be big for Catawba to try to win a second game in this series and not force that, if necessary, contest. We are moments away from Game 2 of the SAC Championship Series. We bring you first pitch of Game 2 of the series between top-seeded Catawba and second-seeded Wingate on the other side of this break. This is the SAC Championship Series on Flow College.
And now, ladies and
The national anthem has been played here at McCrary Park in Asheboro, North Carolina, as these two teams are set to play Game 2 of this South Atlantic Conference Baseball Championship Series. Andrew Rogers, once again, you're glad you're with us here on Flow College for this championship series. In game number 2, the visiting and home teams will swap. So top-seeded Catawba will bat first as the visiting team on the scoreboard. And Wingate, the second-seeded Bulldogs, will be the home team. And they're in the blue uniforms, white pants today. Catawba's in the gray uniform with blue helmets as the Bulldogs getting hype here before the game, getting the juices flowing prior to taking the field. Some enjoying a little snack before play as these two clubs get set to meet for a 5th time this season. Catawba has won the first 3 of the first 4 meetings in this series, with yesterday's 6-5 final being the closest of the 4 contests. Wingate has taken the field, and J.D. Little gets the ball for Jeff Gregory on this Saturday afternoon at McCrary Park. The Game 2 starter for the Bulldogs is a 6'4" left-handed redshirt freshman out of Taylorsville, North Carolina. J.D. Little, 3-2 is his win-loss record in 65 innings of work, and some of his best pitching for Wingate has been in his last couple of starts. Over his last 3 starts, 2 in the regular season and 1 last weekend of the conference tournament, he's allowed a combined 4 earned runs that have spanned more than 17 innings of work, 17 2/3 innings of work over his last 3 starts, with just 4 earned runs allowed, with 17 strikeouts as well over those 3 outings. So J.D. Little faces this Catawba lineup. It'll be his second start against the Indians this season. Jim Gant puts out the same starting 9 that he did yesterday. The only change for both these teams today is their starting pitchers. Logan Dyer, Brandon Crabtree, and Sam Hunter are 1, 2, and 3 in Catawba's batting order. Once again, 3 all-conference players right off the bat. Hunter Atkins, a third-team third baseman, hits cleanup. Jake Dunlap, the first-team all-conference DH, hits 5th. Ty Hubbard, an all-conference player at second base, hits 6th. Nathan Chrisman, Matthew Connolly, and Game 1's hero, Malachi Cloud, round out Jim Gant's batting order in Game 2 of this SAC Championship Series. It's going to be a pitching matchup of southpaws, J.D. Little against Casey Gouge. In Game 2 of this series, Catawba needs 1 to be tournament champions and earn the automatic qualifying bid to the NCAA tournament for the South Atlantic Conference. Wingate needs to play 2 games and win them both in order to earn the automatic bid. Both teams feel very comfortable about their chances to be in the NCAA tournament. It will come down to just seeding depending on how things play out on what is a very nice, cool afternoon for baseball here in the SAC Championship Series. First pitch temperature 68 degrees. It was mainly partly cloudy as these two teams took part in batting practice and in and out. It's partly and mainly cloudy right now as J.D. Little goes on the mound, gets into his motion, and the first pitch of Game 2 is fastball away at 12:06 p.m. We're underway with Logan Dyer facing J.D. Little. The lefty winds and pitches to Dyer, low and away. It's 2 balls and no strikes. J.D. Little against this Catawba lineup went 4 2/3 on March 21st, gave up 8 hits and 5 runs, and struck out 3. 2-0 offering, and there's the first strike of the game, called by home plate umpire Michael Walters. Michael Stone is the first base umpire. John White is at second with Al Creedle down the line at third for this second game of the championship series. The 2-1 home is hit sharply back up the middle. It scoots through for a base hit, and Logan Dyer's second hit of the championship series is how Game 2 gets started. And now Brandon Crabtree, a lefty-lefty matchup here for a Catawba lineup that has 4 left-handed bats in the order today as Dyer jumps all over a 2-1 pitch to get things rolling in this championship series. Crabtree, one of 4 lefties for Jim Gant, and they all hit 2, 3, 5, 6. 4 of the first 6 hitters from the left side. First pitch to Crabtree, jammed on an inside pitch. It's popped up left side. Evans backpedaling, still backpedaling. Ranges back enough to make the catch into the outfield grass, and there's one away. 1 pitch, 1 out to get Brandon Crabtree, the conference's player of the year. Pops out, and there's 1 away for Sam Hunter. Sam Hunter had a multi-hit performance in yesterday's victory for Catawba, one of 3 Indians that posted a 2-hit day. Lefty Little sets and pitches to Hunter. Inside corner fastball for called strike 1. Sam Hunter 2 for 4 in yesterday's win. Now 27 multi-hit games for the senior outfielder out of St. Petersburg, Florida. Hunter bunts first base side. Perfect bunt. Fielding it cleanly as Powell, and he tags out Sam Hunter. And there's 2 away. Runner does move into scoring position. It was an attempt for Hunter to try to bunt for a base hit. Bunt came off a little heavy from his bat, as to why Bowen Powell, Wingate's first baseman, was able to get a good jump on it and tag out Hunter, who has all that speed. Just a little probably too much than he wanted to have on it. Goes down as a sacrifice bunt because the runner Dyer moves into scoring position for Hunter Atkins here in the opening inning. 2 away. Swinging a foul ball on the first pitch to Catawba's cleanup batter. Hunter Atkins, we highlighted him pregame, all-conference third baseman, 2 for 4 yesterday, drove in half of Catawba's runs. Little's 0-1 fastball runs away. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Mainly 2-pitch mix for J.D. Little today. Fastball slider combination with a fastball that can run up into the 90s. 1-1 set. Scoreless first. Line drive. Base hit. Into center field. Benamonte has it on 1 hop. Rounding third is Logan Dyer. The throw is cut off. Hunter Atkins does it for a 2nd straight day. A home run in the first inning of the game 1. And now a 2-out single has Catawba up 1-0 in the first. The base running by Logan Dyer. 2-out base running. On the crack of the bat, he was taking off and scored with the throw cut off. And the Indians strike first in the top of the first inning. Hunter Atkins now with 4 runs batted in this championship series. 2-out knock from Catawba's cleanup hitter. And now Little misses high and in to Jake Dunlap for ball 1. Dunlap and Hubbard, the other 2 lefties in this order. Dunlap's a 400 hitter this year. Takes high and in again. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Just 12 pitches so far from J.D. Little out on the mound. He's able to get the conference player of the year on 1 pitch. Sam Hunter after him on 2 pitches, but now has to work with 2 outs to a 2nd straight hitter. 2-0 fastball right down Main Street. With Dunlap taking all the way, it's 2-1. 1-0 Catawba. Little sets. And there's a 2nd strike. Another good pitch. Levels the count. Catawba yesterday in game 1 had just 1 2-out base hit. They already have 1 in 4 batters here in game 2. Dunlap takes inside. Breaking ball that he needed to stay in on there. Did just enough to watch it miss inside. And the count is 3-2. Atkins at first will be on the move when Little heads home. Swinging a soft tapper back to Little. He fields, has to turn his body. High throw. Powell snares it in, and the inning is over. Catawba jumps out in front on a Hunter Atkins 2-out base hit to center field to score Logan Dyer, and the Indians strike first in game 2. They have a 1-0 series lead and a 1-0 lead in game 2 as we head to the home half of the first after this.
Fans, be sure to pick up your merchandise.
What a luxury it is for Jim Gant to be able to turn to the conference's pitcher of the year, Casey Gouge, 8-0 with a 2.26 ERA in the regular season. Gouge to earn pitcher of the year in the conference, and that's who the Indians turn to here in Game 2 of this championship series here in Asheboro, North Carolina. Gouge ready to roll for start 14 of his senior season. In 71 innings, he has 67 strikeouts. And will face a Wingate lineup that, like Catawba, will put out the same 1 through 9. The only things changing from Game 1 to Game 2 are the starting pitchers. Gavin Grapuso is walking to the plate to be the leadoff batter. Jake Corville, Bowen Powell due up here in the opening inning. It's a Wingate lineup that has just 2 left-handed bats. Grapuso, one of them, and then Bowen Powell, the other, hitting in the 3-hole against the southpaw Casey Gouge. It was a perfect 8-0 in 71 innings with a complete game to his line in 2026. 1-0 Indians as we get set to begin the bottom of inning 1. Lefty fires in the first pitch to Grapuso, and it's a strike. Gavin Grapuso has struggled in the SAC tournament for Wingate. At the plate, he was 0 for 5 yesterday, and if you calculate his numbers from the first 3 games last weekend, he's now 2 of 16 at the plate in 4 games this tournament. Here's a pop-up out into the outfield. Grass goes the shortstop, Chrisman. Called off the left fielder Dyer to make the catch. And a pop-out on the second pitch of the inning retires Grapuso. And now Jake Corville. For Catawba defensively, the same 9 and the same defensive alignment. Nathan Chrisman in the middle of the infield with Ty Hubbard for Catawba's Indians. Hunter Adkins and Brandon Crabtree. Gold Glovers at the corners. Third is where Adkins plays, and Crabtree is at first. Logan Dyer, Malachi Cloud, Sam Hunter left to right. And Catawba's outfield here in the second game of this championship series. Cloud and Hunter, Gold Glove outfielders for the best defensive team in the conference this season. First pitch hit softly back to the mound. Corville late out of the box. Gouge will sprint to first and flip it there for a quick second out, and there's 2 away on 3 pitches. It must look like Jake Corville thought maybe it hit off his foot or hit near the plate. That's to why he didn't get out of the box right away, or he wasn't sure where the ball was hit. Gouge does it himself, a 1-3 flip at first. Puts 2 outs on the board now for Bowen Powell. So efficient work from Casey Gouge here in the home half of inning 1. Lefty comes set, working from the right side of the mound. Fires in a breaking ball, and Powell takes a big swing and a miss for strike 1. So Wingate lineup that had 12 hits, out-hit Catawba yesterday, but stranded 10 runners on base. Bowen Powell contributed 2 of those 12 hits. Went 2 for 5. Both of his hits were singles. The 0-1 from Gouge. Breaking ball lifted softly left side. Dyer charging in. Calls off Chrisman. Makes the catch on the run. And it's efficient 1-2-3 inning for Catawba's Casey Gouge. The pitcher of the year needs just 5 pitches to toss a 1-2-3 scoreless first. Indians 1 after 1. Andrew Rogers, glad to bring you back to McCrary Park here from Asheboro, North Carolina. Top seeded and number 1 ranked Catawba leads 1-0 after an opening inning 2-out base hit from Hunter Atkins. 1-0 Indians, and then Gouge with a 1-2-3 home half to blank the Wingate Bulldogs, who send J.D. Little back to the mound to pitch this second inning here on Flow College for these SAC championship contests between two of the premier baseball programs in the South Atlantic Conference's history. Catawba has won 9 tournament titles, the most in league history. Wingate has 8 tournament titles. If they can win 2 today, the Bulldogs would be tied with Catawba with the same number of tournament titles. First pitch of the second inning to Ty Hubbard is a strike from J.D. Little. Bulldogs, the home team, despite being the lower seed. Game 2, it flip-flops, and then Game 3, it would go back to Catawba if the game is necessary. 0-1 foul ball by Hubbard, and the count goes to 0-2. This was not the pitching matchup when these two teams met for a 3-game series back in late March. 0-2. Hit softly back to the mound. Another play for Little off the mound. Fields it cleanly, and with a lob throw, retires Ty Hubbard. Back-to-back plays made by Little spanning innings. That's the third already. 1-3 putout. And now 7 total outs recorded in this game. One away now for the 7-hitter Chrisman. This was not the pitching matchup, though. J.D. Little got the first game of a Saturday doubleheader. Here's a bunt quickly by Chrisman. A perfect bunt placed, and Bradley Hart, the catcher, had no play. And Chrisman legs out, an infield bunt single for Catawba's 3rd hit already. Both these teams very aggressive early in counts as well. Just the 3rd pitch of the inning after the first out. It's a perfect bunt by Chrisman up the first base line, and by the time Bradley Hart had the ball in his hands, Chrisman was about to step on first. But J.D. Little started the second game of the series, the first game of a 9-inning doubleheader, or 16-inning doubleheader. First one was a 9, second was a 7, as Connolly takes ball 1. J.D. Little went 4 2/3, allowed 5 runs in that game. When he left the game was tied at 5. There's a strike in from the lefty to even the count. Bulldogs jumped it back in front 7-5 in the 6th inning just for Catawba to score 5 times in the 7th to lead 10-7, but then the Bulldogs rallied late to force extras and eventually win it. 2-1 now on Catawba's 8-hitter Matthew Connolly. It was a high-scoring game when J.D. Little pitched against these Indians back in late March. Parker Leahy was the starting pitcher for Catawba in that game. 2-1. Inside and low. 3 balls and 1 strike. The count on Matthew Connolly. Here in this second inning with Chrisman aboard at first base. Just the 2nd 3-ball count to the first 8 hitters that J.D. Little has pitched against so far. Chrisman takes off, pitches high and away. Chrisman will get first base on ball 4. So an infield bunt single leads to a 5-pitch walk, and the Indians have 2 aboard for yesterday's hero. One swing could have potentially changed this series as Malachi Cloud stands in for the first time after going to straightaway center field in yesterday's victory to win 6-5, a walk-off home run. Gave the Indians their first game in the series. He takes ball 1 away. Cloud, a .260 hitter. He's hit home runs now in back-to-back conference tournament games. Did it in the win over Coker to get to this championship series and set the tone for his club with that walk-off winner yesterday. Swing and a softly hit flare into right field for a base hit. Throw comes home, and it is a good throw, so it holds the runner Chrisman to third, and it is a base hit for Malachi Cloud to load him up here in the second inning with 1 out. Good piece of hitting from Malachi Cloud. His second hit now in his many at-bats this championship series. Loads him up for the leadoff guy, Logan Dyer.
Here we go, Logan.
Good job by Grapuso out there in right field to gather that ball in and make a strong throw. Now Dyer swings and hits one to second. Could be two. The flip to Corville, back to first. And Dyer beats out the double play ball. Good hustling up the line and speed from Dyer breaks up the double play. A fielder's choice plates a second run, and the Indians lead 2-0. Ball hit to Griffin at straightaway short. He didn't have to move much. Attacked the baseball. The flip was good. But Dyer, with all kinds of speed, sprinting up the line, beats out that throw. So now runners at the corners. Chrisman scored. Cloud off the bases. It's Connolly at third. Dyer at first for Brandon Crabtree to take high and inside. 2-0 Catawba. A run in each of the first two frames. Crabtree trying to add on to it. 1-0. Checked his swing, and I think it hit his bat and then hit off Bradley Hart as well. So the home plate umpire will walk a new baseball out to J.D. Little as Crabtree showed his hands here at an inside pitch. Just barely grazed his bat and then hit the catcher Hart. Same defensive alignment for Wingate here today as well. We mentioned Grapuso out in right field, Reid Benamati and Will Farrell in center and left field. Brandon Crabtree went yard yesterday, one of 3 home runs for the Indians. It was his 13th home run of the year as well. Here's a swing and a ground ball to short. Griffin, backhand snag. He'll make the play to first and retires Crabtree, and the inning is over. Good work defensively to help out J.D. Little. The bases were loaded with 1 out, and the only run that scores in the second inning is on that fielder's choice by Logan Dyer. A run scores on 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left on base. It's the Indians, the top seed and the regular season champions, up 2-0 after an inning and a half here on Flow College. Plenty of Catawba fans have made the trip from Salisbury to try to watch the Indians celebrate here on this championship Saturday in Asheboro, North Carolina. Catawba trying to become just the second program to ever complete the double in consecutive years. When you hear the double, that means be regular season and tournament champions in the same season. The Indians did it in last year. There's tournament by winning the first 2 games against nationally ranked Lenore-Rhine. And now this season they have to do it against Wingate to complete the double in consecutive seasons. Only Wingate has been the other program in the conference to complete the double, win the regular season and the SAC tournament in the same seasons. Did it through 94 to 96 in this league. First pitch from Gouge to begin the second. Tanner McCammon is low for ball 1. Efficient work from the conference's pitcher of the year in that opening inning. Just needed 5 pitches to send the Bulldogs down in order. 1-0 pause, and the offering to McCammon. The DH again is the strike. A 3-for-5 performance by Tanner McCammon in yesterday's loss for Wingate. McCammon now 7 for 17 in 4 games this tournament. 2-0 Indians as Gouge begins the frame and misses with ball 2 to Wingate's cleanup batter. McCammon's hit third for much of the year, but no Ben Karpowitz again for Wingate in this batting order. Has not played since leaving the first game of this tournament against Newberry last weekend. McCammon takes low in, it's 3-1, and without Ben Karpowitz, this is still a good Wingate batting order, but no Karpowitz is a significant piece. First team outfielder has 22 homers and 74 runs batted in. It's a big chunk of production missing once again as McCammon all over a breaking ball. Way out in front, lines it foul. And Gouge has battled back to work the count full. Karpowitz and his 22 home runs hit this season, the most for a Wingate hitter since Sean Barnett launched 26 in 2024. Payoff from Gouge. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 1 for the conference's pitcher of the year. He gets McCammon swinging at a payoff. 4 up, 4 down for the Southpaw. Inside pitch to the right-handed hitting McCammon is the first out of the second inning, and now Jalen Evans. What a season Jalen Evans has produced for Wingate. A .423 hitter. Has doubled his hits from last year. Shows bunt, bunts it up into the air, but behind the screen and foul. Strike 1 on Wingate's third baseman. 50th start of the year for Jalen Evans. Utility guys played third base in this game a lot this year. Second base is DH'd as well. Swinging a sharply hit ball to short. Nice backhand play and a jump throw to first. Won't get the speedy Evans. Fantastic effort by Chrisman, but with the ball hit deep in the hole at short, never had a chance against Evans. It's an infield single for Wingate's first hit to break up Gouge's 4 up, 4 down start. Just so far in the hole. Have to appreciate the effort from Nathan Chrisman at shortstop. Now a runner on for the first time for Neil Griffin. 0-1 home. Missed inside. This bottom 4 in the order for Wingate, starting with Griffin and going through Benamani in the 9-hole, combined yesterday to go 7 of 14 at the plate. 1-0. High and away. 2 ball, no strike count on Neil Griffin. With the Bulldogs having their first base runner aboard. Griffin was 2 of 5. Will Farrell's next. He went 2 of 4. Reed Benamati was 2 for 4 as well. Bradley Hart had productive at-bats and was 1 for 1. Evans takes off, pitches a strike. Throw down to second is not in time. Jalen Evans has a stolen base, his 35th of the year. And the Bulldogs have a man in scoring position for Griffin with 1 away. Great jump. Pretty good throw, but Evans got there well before the tag. Evans takes off again, swing and a miss. Throw to third. Atkins has to leap off the bag to keep it from the outfield. And Evans has stolen back-to-back bases in as many pitches. Now a 2-2 count. And Evans has made this a sacrifice fly potentially opportunity. Another great jump, and even if the throw is good, I think Evans gets there safely. Remember, we talked about this yesterday. These two clubs, not only the best in the league, but 1 and 2 in stolen bases this year. Catawba first in stolen bases, Wingate second. It's playing a factor right now for the Bulldogs here in inning 2. Gouge comes set, and the 2-2 to Griffin. Swing and a miss. Good inside slider. Swinging and missing is Griffin. The second K of the inning from the Southpaw Gouge puts 2 away. the second time he's used a pitch to run inside on these right-handed Wingate hitters. He got McCammon and now gets Griffin. Catawba's defense can go back to playing normal depth with 2 outs for Will Farrell. Lefty sets in the first one to Farrell. Missed inside. Farrell yesterday, in just his 6th start of the year, hit his 2nd home run of the season and the 7th of his career, a 4-year player for the Bulldogs. Stepped into the starting left field role without Ben Karpowitz. 1-0. Swing and a drive well out toward left field. Way out in front was Farrell, though, and he fouls it off. Hit very well. Farrell's home run yesterday, that was a 6th-inning home run that gave Wingate at the time a 5-4 lead. The last time the Bulldogs scored was on Farrell's swing in yesterday's game. Can he do something again like that? And this at-batter at some point in this game could take on a breaking ball inside. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Casey Gouge did not throw a ball in that 5-pitch opening inning. He's now thrown 5 in this inning alone as Farrell, again, well out in front. Rips it foul into the screen, and it's 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2-0 Indians here in the second. Gouge is offering. Change-up low and away. Farrell holds off, and the count works full. Really good pitch. Great movement, downward movement on the change-up. Payoff to Farrell. Called strike 3. The SAC Pitcher of the Year, showing why he earned that honor in the second inning. The southpaw strikes out the side in the second inning, and the Indians have a 2-0 advantage. It started with the McCammon strikeout. A couple of stolen bases from Jalen Evans put pressure on Gouge, but he was ready for that pressure. A strikeout of Farrell and Griffin completes a scoreless second for Gouge and the Indians here on Flow College. Back at the SAC Baseball Championship Series, 2-0 Catawba after 2 innings here on Flow College. The Indians have already compiled 4 hits to score 2 runs. Second run there by Logan Dyer, scored on a fielder's choice after the game began with Hunter Atkins' RBI single in the first inning. It's 2-0 after 2 here on Flow College as Sam Hunter, the number 3 hitter in Jim Gant's order, gets set to begin this third inning. The Indians have 4 hits and 2 runs against left-handed starter J.D. Little in 31 pitches so far. First pitch of inning 3 runs high and inside from J.D. Little for ball 1. Good performance by Sam Hunter in this championship series so far. 1-0, ground ball to short. Neil Griffin on the run, fields and sets his feet. Good strong throw, and Hunter is thrown out. One away in the third inning. Thing about some of these Catawba hitters, we saw the speed from Evans for Wingate last half inning, but even those type of plays right there, you have to field those very well and make good throws, because that was a bang-bang play for as routine of a ground ball as it was, because of the speed of Sam Hunter. And several of Catawba's hitters in this lineup, Hunter and Dunlap and Hubbard and Chrisman and Cloud, all have speed. Another ground ball to short, right to Neil Griffin. Throw gets away from Bowen Powell. And Hunter Atkins will reach on the second error of this championship series, and the first by Wingate. In this game, first error of the game, charged to the shortstop Neil Griffin. This was way more routine, had plenty of time, but his throw was wide away from Bowen Powell. Good job backing up the throw by Hart as well. Holds Atkins at first base as Jake Dunlap stands in. First pitch breaking ball, it's 1-0. Catawba's win yesterday in walk-off fashion was the program's second walk-off this year, or rather third walk-off this year. Second in the postseason as Dunlap fouls a 1-1 back. They walked off Belmont Abbey in 11 innings on April 7th and walked off Lincoln Memorial on May 2nd. In that second game of the conference tournament last weekend. 2-1 count, and then yesterday a 6-5 win on Malachi Cloud's home run. And what was a seesaw of an affair. Little's 2-1 home. Grounded softly to second. Charging after it is Corville. He tries to tag the runner. He does. Throw to first in time. A 4-3 double play turn by Jake Corville. He tags out Atkins and then throws to first to get Jake Dunlap. But hold the phone here. Maybe a challenge from Catawba. The second base umpire, John White, was all over it. And then he tagged, as Corville tagged Atkins and then threw to first to get Dunlap. They did not have a challenge or any replay reviews in the series opener yesterday. And a challenge has been requested by Jim Gant and Catawba for what will be the first of this championship series. Both teams get 2 challenges in the championship series. If you win the challenge, you obviously keep your challenges, and that's how it all works. If you are unsuccessful with your challenge, then you lose it, and you would be down to 1, or if you lose your last one, you'd be down to none. So now a discussion between the 4 umpires on the play that is being challenged here by Catawba. It was ruled on the field as an inning-ending double play, a 4-3 turn with Corville tagging out the runner. And the challenge, I would believe, is whether Atkins was tagged out at second base, or tagged out as he was running to second base. Although our official review as we watch is checking out at first base with Dunlap hustling up the line. And certainly a bang-bang play there as well. It almost looks like Dunlap is safe at first base. On the throw, it's very close, going frame by frame. Our terrific crew, Ian Johnson, our director and producer of this baseball championship series, leading the charge. Jay West running replay, and their work on display here on this official review. Wingate's defensive players have stayed out on the field. J.D. Little's near the mound, probably going to try to stay warm here, potentially if this review is overturned. Call overturned. Catawba keeps their challenge, and Jake Dunlap is safe at first base. Almost thought the way Catawba was reacting that they were wanting to challenge that call at second, whether it was a tag play or not, which probably would have been a tough angle to find, but it was Dunlap indeed beating out that throw from Corville. So it's a fielder's choice. Atkins off the bases, Dunlap aboard as the challenge successful, overturns the call on the field and gives Ty Hubbard a third inning at bat, and he's hit by a pitch. Fastball runs inside, so after that a little bit of a delay. J.D. Little's first pitch after the delay hits Ty Hubbard, and the Indians have 2 on with 2 out for Nathan Chrisman. Just barely grazed his jersey as the pitch came inside. Wonder if this challenge can come back to help out the Indians here in the third as Chrisman takes a strike. Sacrifice fly from Catawba's shortstop in game 1. That was the swing and fly ball that tied the game at 5. It eventually led to the 6-5 victory. He golfs one well out toward left center field. Benamati going back to the wall. He's got just enough room, and Chrisman just barely misses his 4th home run of the year. Indians get a couple of base runners in the 3rd inning, but they leave 2 on base. No runs, no hits. An error and 2 left by Jim Gant's club in the top of the 3rd. It's Catawba 2, Wingate nothing after 2.5 here from McCrary Park on Flow College.
That Casey Gouge, the senior pitcher of the year, already doing what he does, starting his 37th game with the Catawba Indians here this afternoon. And it's getting near the end of the line for the senior as you start to figure out what you're going to do for your job after you get done with baseball. Well, Gouge has known what he's wanted to do for some time now. He'll be headed off to the Air Force, getting his pilot's license to of coming into the military for the Air. Made his mind up just yet, but dates officially committed to play baseball. A little bit of a than most. I think those are things that'll serve him well post-baseball. Andrew, back up to you.
That's great, Ray. Thank you. And Gouge has been terrific in this game and all season for the Indians. As he misses outside to Bradley Harden, it's 1-1. Gouge going into the year, they thought we were going to use him as a reliever in the fall, but had earned the opportunity to be a full-time starter, and he's made some relief outings this season. But has turned into one of the better starting pitchers for the Indians here in 2026, and that experience has helped him play a major role on this year's club and has turned himself into one of the team's top pitchers and one of the best in the region. He ends evens up the count on Bradley Hart at 2-2. First at bat of Game 2 of this series for Bradley Hart, facing the lefty Googe, who has struck out 3, and they've been in the last inning of work as Hart floats one softly out towards center field. Cloud is after it. He won't get there. It drops in for a leadoff base hit, and Bradley Hart continues to have a nice championship series. In yesterday's game, Wingate's catcher went 1 for 1, a couple of walks and a sac bunt, and he begins the second game of this series with a leadoff single to center field here to begin the third. This is a Catawba team, more on Googe as well, that needed to replace 2 very quality arms in Payne Stolesworth and Austin Fine. Bunt fouled back by Benamati. Colt Wilkins, obviously, the Limestone transfer. Pitched in yesterday's opener and was terrific, and then Casey Googe has just stepped into this role as a starting pitcher as that second game starter, sometimes third game starter, and been terrific. Breaking ball runs inside, and the count is 1-1 on Benamati. Coach Gant told us how hard of a worker Colt Wilkins is, and that's the same thing that he said about his lefty Googe, who has the ball with the Indians up 2. First pickoff attempt to check on Bradley Hart. Very efficient work from the southpaw so far, Googe. 31 pitches and 20 strikes to the first 8 that he has faced. 1-1. Breaking ball away, 2 balls and 1 strike. Heard Rayana say, well, Googe was committed to be a pitcher for the Naval Academy, and then coaching change led him to coming back home in Salisbury to play for Catawba, where he spent the last 3+ seasons. 2-1 pitch grounded sharply through the left side with Hart in motion on that pitch. Hit and run played well. Benamati brings it or slaps it through the left side. And the Bulldogs have 2 on and nobody out here in the third inning for Gavin Grapuso. That ball is hit anywhere but left field. I think Hart can get to third base, but with Dyer hustling after that ground ball, would have been risky for Hart to try to get to third. So first and second, and the first time the Bulldogs have put multiple men aboard against Googe. First pitch, bunted, first base side, fielded by Crabtree. He looks to third, now throws to first, and the play is made. Well done by the Gold Glovers. Googe and Hubbard, or rather Crabtree and Hubbard, work together, and it's a sac bunt placed down by Grapuso to move Hart to third and Benamati to second as Crabtree and Hubbard combine for the out. 1 away, 2 on for Jake Corville. Both these teams have used some small ball this year. Just the 24th sacrifice bunt of the year from Wingate. Will it lead to a game-tying hit here in the third? Jake Corville takes ball 1 high from Googe. Wingate 37-17. Bunch of good regional wins this year. 24 conference wins in the regular season. 1-0. Line drive sharply. Left field. It drops in for a base hit. 1 run will score. Rounding third base is Reed Benamati. He scores without a throw. A 2-run single from Jake Corville levels the score at 2 here in Game 2 of the championship series. The bottom of the order gets on base, and then the 2-hitter and the Wingate second baseman Corville drives him in with a 2-run single to left field to tie things up at 2 runs apiece. First hit of the championship series as well for Jake Corville. Still just 1 out, and now the lefty Bowen Powell matches up with Googe once again. First pitch breaking ball stayed above the hands. Powell's second at bat, 0 for 1. He flew out in what was a 1-2-3 first inning on just 5 pitches from Casey Gouge. Lefty picks to first base. Very similar start to this second game of this series to what we had in game 1. Yesterday we had 4 combined runs in the first inning. Wingate jumped in front. Catawba answered with a 3-run home run, and then Wingate had a 2-run single from Reed Benamati to level the score at 3 after 2. Here in this game, we're level at 2 here in the third inning. 1-0 home to Powell. Swing and miss, big hack by the freshman. Comes up empty. Much of Wingate's success yesterday was with 2 outs to get some late offense, but just did not have an extra hit or 2 when needed with runners on base. Pitch clock expired. Here comes the pitch home, and it's driven well out toward left center field. Dyer on the run will make the catch. And there is 2 away. Jeff Gregory is going to step out of the first base dugout. Almost felt like there was a pitch clock violation. That clock buzzer sounded, and Gouge went home. Everybody played on. Powell swung the bat and flew out. And Jeff Gregory wants to have a conversation with Michael Walters, the home plate umpire, and the crew chief Al Creedle will jog over as well from third base. That buzzer had rang and expired almost at the same time as Gouge was getting in his motion, but I wonder if Jeff Gregory's argument is that Gouge began his motion as the buzzer sounded, or if that motion potentially is what kicked Gouge into gear to then go home. We're going to send it down to Rihanna DeCrow with more down by the field, Ray.
Yeah, talking about this review, a couple of the Wingate players were pretty happy that Bowen Powell swung the bat. He said, hey, it don't matter. I mean, the pitch clock violation, just call it good. And then when it was caught, they said, no, pitch clock violation. Yeah, it happened. So pretty funny there.
Yeah, certainly heads-up play by Bowen Powell to continue on. And he's going to be going back to the dugout. It'll be the second out of the inning. It was a 1-1 pitch, so it wouldn't have been the end of the at-bat had Powell taken what could have been a strike. But certainly an odd situation there. 2 away for the DH now, Tanner McCammon. Corville still at first base. Foul ball back on the 40th pitch from Casey Gouge in game 2 of this series. Tanner McCammon, 7 hits over the across now 5 games in the conference tournament. Led the way in the hitting department with 3 in yesterday's loss for the Bulldogs. 0-1 home. Back-to-back strikes from the lefty Gouge to work ahead on McCammon. Already 2 across for the Bulldogs here in the third. Can McCammon add on? He will not. He's behind the fastball from Casey Gouge, who gets his 4th strikeout to limit the damage in the third inning. 2 leadoff singles from Bradley Hart and Reed Benamati set up Jake Corville. After a sacrifice bunt moved the runners in scoring position, Corville delivers a 2-run single to left field. We are tied at 2 after 3 innings in Game 2 of the SAC Championship Series here on Flow College. Back for the fourth inning for the second game in this series. We are tied after 3 innings. The matchup between Catawba and Wingate. First pitch swinging here in the fourth inning. It's a pop-up behind second. And the RBI man for Wingate, Jake Corville, makes the catch to retire Matthew Connolly. And there's one away in the fourth inning for Malachi Cloud. Yesterday's game was tied at 3 after 3 innings. Or rather, it was tied at 3 after 2 innings. Cloud, the hero, yesterday takes outside. Brandon Crabtree homered in the 3rd inning yesterday, and that's why it was a 4-3 game after 3. Fastball in there for a strike to the Lee transfer Malachi Cloud. Home runs in consecutive games for Catawba's center fielder this postseason. 1-1 home, grounded sharply to third. Evans after it in foul ground fields it. And it's a 1-2 count for a 42-win Catawba team. The 9-hitter Cloud batting. And what makes this Catawba team go is the production it gets from everybody in the lineup. They have 6 all-conference players in their lineup today again. This Cloud is drilled by an inside breaking ball. An appeal to first says Cloud did not go, and it's a hit batter for the second time this game. A 1-out base runner now for the Indians here in the 4th inning. But when you have 6 all-conference players in your lineup and one of the other 3 hitters in the order is the guy that is your hero in a clutch situation, indeed it was Cloud in yesterday's 9th inning, that is the reason Catawba's won 42 of its 51 games this year, is Logan Dyer takes high. And then Matthew Connolly, the 8-hitter, was the hero in Catawba's second walk-off of the year and the first one of this tournament against Lincoln Memorial. Also not an all-conference catcher. Pitches a strike, throwdown is well away from the bag, and Cloud easily swipes second base to move into scoring position. His 27th stolen base. Puts a runner in scoring position for Logan Dyer. Good job by Corville. Had Griffin backing him up, but a nice diving play to just keep that thing in the infield. 1-1. Cloud takes off again. Pitches a ball. Throw down to third, not in time. Just like Jalen Evans did in the second inning, Malachi Cloud swipes 2 bases in 2 pitches to move to third. Again, both these teams run the bases so well and have some great speed out there. Cloud shows it for the first time in this series. And now it's Dyer to bat with a run 90 feet away from giving Catawba the advantage back. Great jump, too. No tag even applied by Evans. 2-1. Line drive, right field. It is not caught. Grapuso thinks he has it. He'll throw it into the infield. And I think bounced into his glove. Cloud waited at third base. He scores after seeing it drop in for a base hit. And Catawba jumps back in front 3-2. Second hit of the day from Logan Dyer. Great effort by Gavin Grapuso out there in right field. Trying to make that sliding catch. Tried to fool Cloud as well, as that ball certainly bounced into his glove. Indians back in front with Brandon Crabtree batting and taking inside for ball 1. All set up by Malachi Cloud's base running as well. If he's at second base even on that base hit, he has to hold up to see if that's caught. He probably does not score on that type of hit. 1-0, grounded well up the line, foul. 1-1 count on Brandon Crabtree. In yesterday's 4th inning, he went yard off Chad Harvey, his 13th of the year. Put Wingate back in front, or put Catawba back in front over Wingate. Breaking ball, a good one. Backside strike from Little. It's 1-2. Hitting streak for Brandon Crabtree is out to 22 straight games here down this stretch. He's hit safely for the last month plus. Hunter takes off and Crabtree flies it foul. Junior first baseman from Pittsboro, North Carolina. The Gaston college transfer has been on base in an impressive 49 of his team's 51 games. 2-2, hit sharply to first. Powell fields it cleanly, throws to second for one, back to first, a double play. How about the glove work from Bowen Powell at first base? He starts a 3-6-3 inning-ending double play to limit Catawba's fourth inning damage. But Logan Dyer has given the Indians the lead back. An RBI single scores Malachi Cloud, and Catawba leads Wingate 3-2 after 3.5 innings of Game 2 of this championship series on Flow College. Andrew Rogers, glad to welcome you back to the SAC Baseball Championship Series here on Flow College. It's Catawba 3 and Wingate 2. For more on this Indians roster, let's send it down to Ray with more. Ray.
Yeah, thanks so much, Andrew. So this Catawba team, funny enough, just has 7 players not from the state of North Carolina. You got 5 guys directly from Salisbury, 3 from the immediate surrounding area, and just lots of good baseball players within 55 miles, says head coach Jim Gant. He said he doesn't want someone who just looks good in a uniform, is super talented, but has really good character. And in the county that Salisbury lies in, that is just not the case. Everyone has a good heart. Everyone's bought in. Gant, his wife, his mother, and father-in-law are all Catawba grads. And, man, it just runs in the blood down in Salisbury. Like doing work for your family. It's a big deal, and it just means a lot.
Thanks, Ray. And there's plenty of local talent on this team. The starting pitcher, Casey Gouge, is from Salisbury, North Carolina. Means more than just playing the game, but developing these athletes as Gouge misses outside for ball 1. Good bunt single to begin this inning by Jalen Evans to start this 4th for Wingate. Means more than just developing these kids into really good baseball players, but quality young men as well. Both coaches have told us that and repeated that several times heading into this championship series. A lot of the starters on the field for the Indians here today are Salisbury natives. Another pick to first base as Gouge continues to make a nice concerted effort to keep Evans close. Evans reached with 1 out in the 2nd inning and swiped 2 bases in as many pitches to move to 3rd, but was left there. 1-0 home. Neil Griffin takes a first pitch, or rather a 1-0 strike. 45 pitches from the lefty Gouge. 30 of them have found the zone. Another pick to first base. Griffin, one of the 4 strikeout victims so far against Gouge. Taps one foul Off the end of his bat, it's strike two. A couple of good, young, talented players in this lineup for Wingate. Highlighted the play of Bowen Powell, the freshman first baseman that made that double play. Him and Griffin, two freshmen combined for that play. Griffin, a redshirt freshman as well, has had a good year. He's hit safely now in 6 straight games with an RBI as well in 5 of his last 6. Two really good freshmen surrounded by some experienced players. Another pickoff attempt by Gouge continues to keep Evans close. Brandon Riley is Wingate's third base. Coach Caden Howlett first base to coach. Long pause. Now Gouge comes home. Swing and a miss. Neil Griffin down swinging for the second time. Gouge has his 5th K, and there's one away in the 4th inning. Lefty Gouge has had his way with McCammon and now Neil Griffin. Both of those two hitters, the 4 and 6 hitters in Wingate's order, are 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts in this game. And now Will Farrell with a runner on. They've got Evans. Throw back to second base, gets away from Chrisman and goes into left field. Here comes the throw to third. It is late. Gouge went to pick off Evans at first base. He took off for second. And Crabtree's throw got away from Nathan Chrisman into left field. So Evans goes to third on the throwing error. Evans will get a 3rd stolen base for getting to second safely. And then the throwing error by Crabtree, a Gold Glover over there, just his 3rd error of the year, allows Evans to get to third. And now Will Farrell. First pitch is a strike. There's that running game being a factor, affecting a Catawba defense that entered this championship series with a .983 fielding percentage, the highest mark in the league this year. Fly ball out toward right field, hit pretty well. Back goes Sam Hunter to the wall. He can't get it. Will Farrell, for the 2nd straight day, has gone yard to give the Bulldogs the lead. In 2 games this championship series, Will Farrell has more home runs than he did the entire regular season. 4-3 on Farrell's 3rd bomb of the year. Wind blowing out today at McCrary Park helped that ball fly out of this historic field. That's another home run here as well that is felt like off the crack of the bat that it may not have enough juice to get out. That was what Malachi Clouds felt like when he went yard to walk off yesterday's game, as Gouge fires in a strike to Bradley Hart. Cloud even said after the game yesterday his home run he thought was a routine fly ball the way it started, but sometimes the ball has carried here with some wind gusts that are moving out today as well, as Hart's going to take a 2nd strike. And now Farrell, for the 2nd straight day, has gone yard. And for the 2nd straight day, it's a go-ahead home run. 0-2 to the catcher. Hart is a waste pitch high and away by Casey Gouge. Gouge trying to respond after allowing a home run here to Will Farrell. Gouge had only allowed 2 earned runs over his last 4 starts, ending the regular season into the postseason as Hart fouls a 1-2 pitch off. And now he's allowed 4 in 3 1/3 in his 2nd time pitching against this Wingate batting order. Will Farrell's 3rd home run of the year has Wingate up 4-3. 1-2 to Hart, runs inside and low, and did he get hit by the pitch? He did. 1-2 breaking ball by Gouge. Hits Bradley Hart. And now Reed Benamati with another runner on base here. Time called by Matthew Connolly, and he'll walk out and have a conversation with Gouge, and Nathan Chrisman will join in this conversation as well. Just the 6th home run that Casey Gouge has allowed this season. And that's why Wingate has a 4-3 advantage here on Flow College in this championship series. Game number 2. Game 1 delivered. It lived up to what we thought it could be, a back-and-forth fun affair, and that's exactly what we're getting here in Game 2 of this series. Catawba led 2-0. Wingate tied it in the 3rd inning on a 2-run base hit by Jake Corville. The Indians jumped right back in front in the top half of this 4th inning on a Logan Dyer hit, but Will Farrell's 2-run blast has the Bulldogs back in front with their first lead of the day as Reed Benamati swings behind a fastball for strike 1. But again, it's the bottom part of this Wingate order that continues to rake in this championship series. Pick to first base. 55 pitches from Casey Gouge. Both of these two teams only used one reliever each. So both teams have somewhat fresh pens. Swing and a miss again at strike 2. Seth Sharp, 3 1/3 for Catawba. Wingate threw Carson Starnes. He just threw 34 pitches, 2 1/3 before that walk-off blast. So plenty of reliable arms in both pens for what could be 2 games today. 0-2 set, pitch clock expired. And this time, Gouge won't get the pitch off. It'll be ball 1. That time, clearly, Gouge was not close to getting into his motion. It was clear that the time expired. Plenty of time here, 10 seconds to offer, and he fires in a fastball away, 2-2. Benamati singled off Gouge in inning 3. Later scored on that Corville 2-run single. 2-2 home. Late swing, but Benamati fouls it off. Benamati, another one of these young freshmen that Jeff Gregory has. Freshman out of Oak Ridge, North Carolina, has hit near 300 all year. He's hit safely now in 7 straight games, the longest streak of his freshman year, including RBIs in 6 straight games, also the longest streak of his rookie year. 2-2 home. Just barely found it off, was out in front of the breaking ball, and was just able to foul it off to stay alive. Catawba won Game 1, 6-5, walk-off fashion. The Bulldogs must win this Game 2 to force the winner-take-all Game 3 later today. 2-2 home. Swinging a ground ball to third. Backhand diving play by Atkins. He'll throw to first on one hop. Crabtree holds on. That right there is why Hunter Atkins was the South Atlantic Conference's Gold Glove third baseman. How about this diving play? Right on the line, and then sets his feet and perfectly one-hops a throw to the Gold Glove first baseman Brandon Crabtree for the second out of the inning. That is a much-needed second out to aid Casey Gouge here in the 4th inning. Now back to the top of the order for Gavin Grapuso. First pitch, fastball high. Hart does go to second base. So a Grapuso hit could extend Wingate's first lead of this second game of the series. 1-0. Away again, 2 balls and no strikes as Casey Gouge's pitch count rises to 63. In this fourth inning, 63 pitches and 42 strikes from the southpaw, who's allowed 2 runs in each of the last 2 innings. Swing and a miss. Slider had Grapuso out in front. Pop up behind home, fouls off. And into the stands for strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 4-3 contest. Wingate in front. Grapuso, the leadoff guy, batting with Bradley Hart at second base. Already 2 across on Will Ferrell's blast here in the 4th. Grapuso trying to add on. And he will get a second chance here. He foul-tipped it to Connolly, but he couldn't hold on to the catcher for Catawba. It bounced foul right in front of him at the plate. And so Grapuso gets another opportunity. Just barely nicked at the plate, but Connolly could not hold on, so Grapuso gets another chance here. Usual look at second to 2-2. Swing and a miss. Casey Gouge gets his 6th strikeout, and Wingate's 4th inning comes to an end. But Jalen Evans base running, put some pressure on the Indians in that 4th inning, and that set up Will Ferrell for his 2nd home run in this championship series. His 3rd of the year over the right field wall has Wingate up 4-3 after 4 here in Asheboro, North Carolina on Flow College. For 4-3 Wingate. After 4 innings, J.D. Little gets to pitch with a lead for the first time in this championship series, game number 2. 4 innings of 3-run ball from the southpaw. Redshirt freshman, just 1 walk, no strikeouts so far, but his defense has been quality behind him. And he'll try to keep Wingate in front as he faces 3, 4, and 5 of Catawba's batting order. Sam Hunter, Hunter Adkins, and Jake Dunlap, the 3 due up for the Indians here in the 5th. Hunter shows bunt, and Little misfires high and inside. Hunter was showing bunt and needed to lean over and squat down to get away from that Little fastball that ran high and in. 1-0 offering is lined right to Jake Corville, and he makes the catch. 1 away in the 5th on the 2nd pitch. Hunter rips it pretty hard, but right to Wingate's 2nd baseman, who was positioned perfectly and just needed to take a step or 2 to his left to retire Sam Hunter. 1 away now for Hunter Atkins. Single and a reached by error for Atkins. 2 plate appearances. His Little drops in a breaking ball for a strike. It's a Wingate pitching staff that has come a long way. Injuries have affected some things as Atkins bounces one foul up the line at third. Strike 2. Jeff Gregory told us prior to this championship series how his pitching staff has come a long way. Injuries have affected some things and has forced some guys into some more different roles and some high leverage roles more often than usual. But J.D. Little has been pretty consistent. Line drive and a base hit for Hunter Atkins on a breaking ball that stayed over the heart of the plate on an 0-2 pitch. Hunter Atkins has his 4th hit of the championship series. And there's a 1-out base runner for Jake Dunlap. J.D. Little has made 14 starts on the mound. This is his 15th. Nearly 70 innings of work for the redshirt freshman. And sometimes that game 3 starter has been where the Indians have, or where the Bulldogs have struggled to find a consistent weapon. There's a ground ball to second, could be 2. Corville flips to Griffin and to first. Bulldogs turn 2 for the second time this afternoon. And the Indians blanked for the second time in the last 3 half innings. Corville starts the 4-6-3 inning-ending double play, and the Bulldogs back to the bat rack with a 1-run lead in Game 2 of the championship series on Flow Sports. Two, 3, 4 for Jeff Gregory's Wingate Bulldogs. Due up in the bottom half of inning number 5 here on Flow College. Andrew Rogers and Rayanna DeCrow, glad you've been with us for this weekend championship series. This is game number 2. Catawba leads the championship series 1-0 on a 6-5 walk-off home run from Malachi Cloud in game 1 yesterday evening. And now with the Bulldogs, the home team on the scoreboard in this second game of the series, has a 4-3 lead, needing to win this game to force the winner-take-all later today. First pitch by Casey Gouge here in inning 5 is a strike. Gouge has allowed multiple runs in each of the last 2 half innings that Wingate has come to the plate, trying to settle back in here out on the mound. 0-1 hit softly in the air, right side off one hop. Hubbard fields cleanly and throws out Jake Corville, who's retired for the second time. One away now for Bowen Powell. The second game today in the series finale, and the winner-take-all game would come approximately 45 minutes to an hour after the conclusion of this one. Bulldogs are trying to force that extra game off to a good start. They have scored 4 of the last 5 runs in this game to take a 4-3 lead. First pitch to Powell, drills him in the helmet. And Powell will trot up to first base and tosses back to the dugout and reach for the first time on a hit batter. On a hit-by pitch with 1 out for Tanner McCammon to come up. It's a breaking ball that stayed high and in, and luckily Powell was able to dodge out of the way of it. So that it hit the back part of his helmet. First free pass, or rather second now total freebie in this game. No walks from Gouge, but now 2 hit batters by both starting pitchers today. This is how Wingate gets a base runner in inning 5. They've had a runner on now in each of the last 4 frames. McCammon takes low and away. 4-1. The App State transfer has started every game for the Bulldogs this season. A third baseman and a DH for a lot of the year. 1-0 home. Swing and a high drive out toward left center field. A no-doubter from Tanner McCammon extends the Wingate lead here in the 5th. An absolute missile for home run number 18 from Tanner McCammon, and the Bulldogs double up the Indians. It's 6-3. This Wingate offense has come alive in Game 2. 3 straight half innings with 2 runs. McCammon's first big bomb of this championship series comes in the 5th of Game 2. Everybody at the park knew as that ball left the bat of McCammon, it was not going to stay here for long. The App State transfer, an all-conference infielder, showing why with his 18th blast of the year. Bulldogs up 6-3 now as Jalen Evans takes inside. So Jake Corville, a third-inning 2-run single, tied the game. Last half inning, it was a Will Farrell home run with 1 out. In this innings, it's Tanner McCammon with a 2-run, 1-out home run to give the Bulldogs a 3-run lead now. Jalen Evans takes inside. Remember, this is a Wingate offense that led the South Atlantic Conference in the regular season and into the postseason with 84 home runs. Now 86, counting the 2 in this game. Swing and a high drive out toward left field. Should be playable for Logan Dyer as he backs up at the last second to make the catch, and Evans is retired. You saw some action down in the Catawba bullpen as Casey Gouge has allowed multiple runs in 3 straight half innings. And a once 2-run lead is turned into a 3-run deficit here in the 5th inning. 75 pitches from Casey Gouge. 50 strikes as he fires in ball 1 to Neil Griffin. Wonder if Gouge can get Catawba through this 5th, and then they go to the pen with the bases clear after the McCammon blast. 1-0 pitch. Swinging a high fly ball out toward left center field. Back goes Benamati to the wall. Griffin is gone yard. A 3rd home run in the last 2 innings. Neil Griffin over the left center field wall increases the Wingate advantage to 7-3. A 4-run lead on the 4th bomb of the year from Neil Griffin. It's a home run party in Ashboro for the Bulldogs. 7-3 and a 3rd home run in the last 2 innings from this Wingate lineup. First pitch to Will Farrell is outside for a ball. For more on Will Farrell, let's send it down to Ray with more. Ray.
Yeah, well, we talked to Coach Jeff Gregory about how his team was going to have to battle back in this one, and he pointed to the glue guys on this team, one of which was number 29, Will Farrell, who's made spot starts throughout the season, but when he's in, he makes it count, and my goodness, back-to-back for the glue guy, Driz. What a game for Wingate right now.
It's a home run party, and Will Farrell is leading that charge. 3 home runs in 2 games, and now home runs and back-to-back at-bats from Will Farrell. 8-3. Back-to-back blasts from Wingate here in the 5th. That's going to be it for Casey Gouge. How about the glue guy? Will Ferrell had 1 home run this season entering this championship series. He's hit 3 in 7 at-bats. What a series for Will Ferrell. Wingate leads 8-3, a 4-run 5th inning, runs Casey Gouge out of the game here on Flow College.
Really?
Parker Lakey, the new pitcher for Catawba. This will be appearance number 18 in his 10th relief appearance of the year. 4.5 is the ERA for Parker Lakey in 51 innings on the mound this season. 43 strikeouts to 22 walks. Will Ferrell, 3 home runs for Wingate in this inning. He hits the 3rd race, second time this weekend. You've been giving a report, and we've got home runs.
Oh, man.
You have to do a report on Catawba maybe next inning if the Indians need some life offensively, right?
Yeah, we can't play favorites, that's for sure. We gotta make sure we're keeping things even over there. But like we were saying, I mean, Will Ferrell, Coach Gregory pointed to him being a glue guy, and then another guy on the bench, Josh Haggerty, who's played in just 4 games this season. Coach Gregory pointed to him and said, you know, he's the ultimate teammate. He's whatever the team needs at the time. He's that guy. And Will Ferrell, the same thing. When he gets in the game, he knows how to make things happen. And, man, these last few days, what a time to be in the lineup and make your spot start. Just make it count.
Yeah, staying ready for his moment, and he has delivered out of the 7-hole for Wingate in this championship series as Bradley Hart takes strike 1 from Parker Lakey, who pitches out of the bullpen in this second game of this series. Remember, he was the starting pitcher when he opposed J.D. Little in the regular season, but out of the pen in this game, 2-1 ground ball to short. Routine play for Chrisman and a good throw across. Ends the Wingate 5th inning. Tanner McCammon started the 5th inning, a 2-run home run, extended Wingate's lead to 6-3, but McCammon just got things started for the Bulldogs. It was Neil Griffin 2 batters later, his 4th blast of the year, set up Will Ferrell, who blasted his 3rd home run of the championship series. Him and Griffin go back-to-back. It's a home run party in Asheboro with the Bulldogs up 5 here on Flow College. Andrew Rogers, glad to welcome you back to Asheboro, North Carolina at historic McCrary Park, home of the Asheboro Zookeepers. J.D. Little back to work, an 8-3 advantage for the Bulldogs as the sixth inning gets underway with Ty Hubbard bouncing the first pitch foul. Ty Hubbard 0 for 1. Facing J.D. Little for the third time, who's thrown 5 innings of 3-run ball. Around 6 hits. Check swing on a tapper to third. Fouled off, strike 2 on Ty Hubbard. Now do the Indians have a comeback in them? So we're more than halfway through this second game of this championship series. 23rd ranked Wingate trying to level this championship series and up 5. Little misses inside. Wingate does have 2 guys standing in its bullpen down the first base side, just moving around, stretching, as J.D. Little gets going here in the 6th inning and drills Ty Hubbard. So a 3rd hit batter by J.D. Little, 4th freebie overall. 1 walk, 3 hit batters, puts Ty Hubbard aboard to begin this 6th inning. That is one thing that Wingate's pitching staff has struggled with this season. Their bullpen, with all those injuries, has given up some leads this season, and they also have led the South Atlantic Conference this season in hit batters. They've now hit 105 guys this year. Most in the conference. Inside pitch to Chrisman, it's 1-0. Chrisman 1 for 2, a second inning single and a third inning fly ball out by the Indians shortstop. You see those 2 guys doing some moving in the Wingate bullpen as time was called. Prior to that pitch clock expiring. No. It is going to be a pitch clock violation. Looked like maybe Little had stepped off, but pitch clock expired, and so it's going to be ball 2 on Chrisman. Now Little's 2-0, runs inside and low again. It's now 3 balls and no strikes. As the bottom part of this Indians order tries to get things rolling in this 6th inning after the 4-run 5th by the Bulldogs to gain a 5-run advantage. 3-0, Chrisman taking all the way. Takes inside and a low, and it's a second walk by J.D. Little. A 4-pitch walk puts runners on first and second with nobody out for Matthew Connolly. And time is called. Jeff Gregory, the head coach of Wingate, out of the first base dugout, is going to walk out and chat with his left-handed starter, J.D. Little. The redshirt freshman running into some problems here in this 6th inning. Nobody has been actively loosening, and so would presume there won't be a pitching change. But there is some activity down in Wingate's bullpen as we speak. Right-hander Carson Morton throwing for the Bulldogs. Getting loose relatively quickly, not on the mound throwing yet, but doing some work in front of the mound in case he's asked upon in this 6th inning. How about the Wingate offense to give them a 5-run lead? The Bulldogs have hit 4 home runs now or more in a game 4 different times this year. They've hit a home run in 8 straight games spanning the end of the regular season into this postseason run. For the club that's hit the most home runs in the conference this season, they've added 4 to their ledger here in Game 2 of this series. And now Jeff Gregory leaves the mound, hoping that his starting pitcher, J.D. Little, can find a way through this 6th inning. 2 on, nobody out. Connolly shows bunt and takes ball 1 low. Have to believe that Connolly and company here will be taking all the way. That's 5 straight misses from J.D. Little. If you count the hit by pitch, it's been 6 straight misses. Pitch 71 runs inside. Now 8 straight misses to the plate from J.D. Little. And Connolly takes ball 2. Little's command was fairly strong entering this inning, but has now missed 30 times in the game. There's a 2-0 strike to break up this stretch of balls. 2 balls and 1 strike. Connolly, the catcher, was the hero to get Catawba to this championship series. Walked off Lincoln Memorial to help advance the Indians into that final game of that 4-team pot as Connolly showed bunt, pulled it back, and took ball 3 away. Connolly's 2-run bases loaded single helped the Indians walk off the rail splitters, and then that led to a runaway win for the Indians over the Coker Cobras to get to this championship series. 3-1, runners take off. It's a swing and a miss for strike 2, but no contest on any of the runners moving on that play. Hubbard to third and Chrisman to second base. And the count is full at 3-2. Aggressive base running again pays off. And the payoff. Swing and a line drive. Will it stay fair? It will down the left field line. It one-hops the wall. Hubbard and Chrisman score as Connolly slides into second base with a 2-run double. And the Indians are battling back to make it a 3-run game. How about the base running? A couple of stolen bases to get the runners into scoring position to allow them to score with ease as Matthew Connolly rips a 2-run double down the left field line. And the Indians have made it a 3-run game, and Jeff Gregory has seen enough. J.D. Little's start has come to an end here in the 6th inning. Hit by pitch, walk, and a 2-run double from Matthew Connolly ends J.D. Little's start here in this championship series. Carson Morton on for the Bulldogs. More on the right-handed reliever after this break on Flow College. Carson Morton into the game for the Wingate Bulldogs here with a runner at second base in the 6th inning, already 2 across for the Indians to make this a 3-run game. Carson Morton to pitch for the Bulldogs for the 8th time this year. 5.5 ERA over 11 innings of work, 17 strikeouts for the redshirt sophomore right-hander who did not pitch until March 21st this season, but has been good. First 4 outings were scoreless outings. His last 3, he has allowed at least 1 run. 7 total runs allowed this season. 7 total earned runs, allowed this season, all of which have come in his last 3 outings of this 2026 season. So Carson Morton, the 6'4 redshirt sophomore, gets the ball for the Bulldogs. This is a guy that made 3 starts last year before suffering an injury. Worked his way back. He had 25 strikeouts in 17 innings and 3 starts in his season a year ago that was cut short. But this is a guy that has length, ability, and has good stuff. First pitch is driven out toward right center field by Cloud into the gap. This will allow Matthew Connolly to tag as Grapuso makes the catch. It's a fly out to right by Cloud, but Connolly tags to get to third. And there's one away for Logan Dyer here in this 6th inning. Overall for Morton, this is appearance 26 in his career. 15 career starts and an ERA at 3.5 over 88 innings of work in his career with 95 strikeouts. So an experienced arm, still young in his Wingate career. Trying to limit this 6th inning damage. First pitch breaking ball to Logan Dyer is off the plate. Dyer is having a nice afternoon, 2 for 3 with 2 runs batted in. RBI fielder's choice and an RBI single in inning 2 and 4. Behind on the fastball, he swings and misses. Got a 3-pitch mix for Carson Morton. A good fastball that has velocity into the low 90s. Fastball, cutter, curveball mixture. Mainly a fastball pitcher. Got a batter violation with the clock as Logan Dyer didn't address the pitcher in time. And so instead of a 1-1 count, Dyer has to take a second strike. It's 1-2. The 1-2 for Morton. Another fastball. It's high, 2-2. Truly, Morton is a 2-pitch mix guy, but does have that cutter that he uses with that curveball. With that good velocity fastball. Dyer takes that curveball into the turf, and it's a 3-ball, 2-strike count. With 1 away and Connolly at second base. Good block by Bradley Hart as that ball bounced up near the top of his chest protector. 3-run game in the 6th inning. Morton's payoff. Low and away. Dyer draws the walk. And now Brandon Crabtree will stand in and represent the tying run with 2 aboard and 1 out here in the 6th inning. Every time Wingate yesterday had answers and took a lead, Catawba followed up with a strong inning. And Wingate can say the same thing. But every time Wingate scored in yesterday's game, Catawba scored in the next half inning. And that's been the same case here in this game. Crabtree takes a strike. When Wingate scored twice in the 3rd, Catawba answered in the 4th. When Wingate scored 2 in the 4th, they scored with 4 more in the 5th inning. And now here in the 6th inning, the Indians have at least 2. 2 on, 1 out. Crabtree takes inside. 1 ball, 1 strike on Brandon Crabtree, who is 0 of 3 at the plate. Pop out, ground out, double play is what he hit into in his 4th inning at bat against the lefty Little. Morton runs a fastball too far inside, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike on the conference's Player of the Year, Brandon Crabtree. 89 hit season from Brandon Crabtree. Looking for his first hit of this 2nd game of the series to try to trim into this Wingate lead some more. Curveball runs inside and low, and Crabtree has worked the count in his favor at 3-1. Morton in danger of walking the bases loaded here potentially. Inheriting a runner on base. But walk Dyer, and now faces Crabtree, who clobbers one to right. Will it stay fair? It will not. It was absolutely belted into the bushes in right field and foul. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The longest foul ball you'll see this weekend was just hit by Brandon Crabtree. And now a payoff pitch set by Morton. Runner takes off. Breaking ball is strike 3 called. 2 away in the 6th inning, and a big bounce back pitch by Carson Morton to strike out Brandon Crabtree. 2 away. Breaking ball. It was about waist high or so. Crabtree almost tossed the bat, and if he tossed that bat, it would have been potentially interference on him as well, so luckily that wasn't called. With that runner going to second base, Dyer on the pitch. Now Sam Hunter with 2 away, rips one to first, and Bowen Powell makes the catch, and the inning's over. What a sequence of events. Nearly a game-tying home run turns into a strikeout and then a line-out to end the inning. But the Indians have scored twice to cut into this Wingate advantage. A 2-run double by Matthew Connolly makes it 8-5 now. Wingate stays in front as we head to the bottom of inning 6 here at McCrary Park. Parker Lakey back to work for Catawba as we begin the bottom half of inning 6 with Reed Benamati taking called strike 1. Benamati has helped lead this charge at the bottom half of Wingate's order. That went 7 of 14 yesterday at the plate. Swinging a miss, strike 2. And now today, 6 through 9 in Wingate's batting order is 5 of 10. 6 through 9 in Wingate's order this weekend has hit 500. 0-2 from Parker Lakey. He's driven well out towards straightaway center field. Back goes Malachi Cloud to the wall. Reed Benamati joins the party. Everything is flying out here at McCrary Park in Game 2 of the championship series. The second home run of the year from the freshman Benamati increases the Wingate lead back to 4. 5 Wingate bombs in the last 3 innings. Benamati got all of it. That ball just kept carrying, and Malachi Cloud, once he got up against the wall, realized he had no chance to get it. How about the Wingate power here at McCrary Park in Game 2 of this series? The Bulldogs have hit home runs in 5 of their last 7 at-bats. Or rather 4 of their last 6 at-bats, I should say, as Kevin Grapuso takes a strike. It started with Tanner McCammon's 1-out swing in the 5th. Grapuso takes high and in, or low and in, 2-1. Griffin, Farrell went back-to-back late in the 5th, and now Benamati opens the 6th inning with his second home run of the year. 1-1 from Parker Lakey, stays high and away, and the Catawba righty tries to respond after allowing his 8th home run of the year. Most home runs that any Indians pitcher has allowed this year. Inside and low. And Grapuso draws a walk after the home run. Well, Catawba pitching entering this game had only allowed 34 home runs in the 51 games played. Benamati has increased that number to now 39 as he hits Wingate's 5th bomb of this second game of the championship series. Most home runs that the Indians have allowed in a game this year, as Jake Corville takes ball 1 low. Back to the top of this order after Grapuso draws his Division II best 61st walk of this season. Time called, and Cole Hales, Catawba's pitching coach, looking toward his bullpen, is walking out toward the mound with his catcher Matthew Connolly set to join the conversation as well. The Catawba staff that's allowed 5 home runs here in this second game of the championship series. Most home runs the Indians pitching staff's allowed in a game this year, most since allowing 5 each to Mars Hill and Shippensburg in February of last season. It was a game with Shippensburg the Indians lost, in a game against Mars Hill they ended up winning 15-13. Despite allowing 5 home runs, the Indians scored 12 times in the last 4 innings to win that game. They're going to need that type of offense to keep up with Wingate, who has blasted 5 home runs. For the Bulldogs, it's the second most home runs in a game this season now, at the perfect time. 1-0 pitch to Corville, runs away. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Bulldogs hit 4 against Emory and Henry on March 27th. Most home runs in a game for Wingate this season was when they they scored 25 runs and hit 7 home runs against Newberry on April 11th. High pop-up into foul ground goes Hunter Adkins behind the third base coach's box, leans back and makes the catch to retire Jake Corville. 1 away for Bowen Powell. And what's most impressive about what this Wingate offense has done in this game is not only have they scored all 9 runs in the last 4 innings with these 5 home runs, but the team's leader in home runs, Ben Karpowitz, who's hit 22 this year, has not played in the SAC tournament since missing out on the end of that win over Newberry last weekend. They've not had Karpowitz for the last 3 games, and this offense has been just A-OK. So the 0-1, our first pitch to Powell, is fouled off. And Will Farrell taking Ben Karpowitz's spot is the perfect stay-ready story. 4-year guy that's been ready for the moment and has stepped up and hit 3 home runs in 6 at-bats. 0-1 on Bowen Powell, who's 0 for 2 and takes away. Bulldogs, pitching-wise, have had some problems finishing out games this season because of some injuries. They've had to go to a bunch of different guys throughout the year. And so, offensively, every run they can get against this Catawba staff will be needed down the stretch to try to get the final 9 outs. To force the winner-take-all game later today. 1 ball, 1 strike. Parker Lakey sets at the belt. His breaking ball stays off the plate. Fastball, slider, changeup combination for Parker Lakey. Right-hander has thrown 18 pitches to now 5 batters faced here out of the Catawba pen. 2-1. High drive out towards center field. Malachi Cloud going back to the warning track, to the wall. Did he rob it? He did not. The Bulldogs have done it again. Bowen Powell joins the party. Wingate's 6th home run. This one by the freshman Powell, his 12th of the year. And the Dogs lead 11-5. The Dogs are barking in Game 2 of this championship series. 6 home runs in the last 3 half innings. Cloud got to the wall, and he timed his jump pretty well, but just could not bring that home run back from Powell. It's 11-5, and Parker Lakey's day is over. How about the Bulldogs and this power? It's so impressive. Powell, McCammon, Griffin, Farrell, Benamati have all gone yard for the Bulldogs over the last 3 half innings. It's a 6-homer performance from the Bulldogs offensively here in Game 2 of this SAC Championship Series. Catawba going back to the bullpen. Tell you who the new reliever is after this. Calvin Douglas into the game for Catawba. The third reliever for the Indians is a 6'4 right-hander from Waxhaw, North Carolina. Sophomore has appeared in 19 games this year. 2.96 ERA for Calvin Douglas in 27 and a third innings of work. 4 wins, no losses for Calvin Douglas, 36 strikeouts and 25 walks for the right-handed pitcher who did not pitch in last weekend's start of the conference tournament. His final 3 outings in the regular season were scoreless performances, including 4 of his final 5 in the regular season. He'll come into the game to face Tanner McCammon with 1 out in his 7th inning against a Wingate offense that, boy oh boy, has erupted over the middle innings of this game. The Bulldogs have scored 11 runs now, all of which have come over the last 4.5 innings, starting with a 2-run third, a 2-run fourth, a 4-run fifth, and now 3 across here in this 6th inning. And the main reason for all of that is the power that has been on full display as McCammon swings and misses at a breaking ball, and it's 0-1. McCammon has homered in this game. An 18th home run was blasted over the left center field wall in the 5th inning. 0-1 set for Douglas. Another good breaking ball. It's strike 2 on Wingate's designated hitter. Curveball, fastball, changeup mix for Calvin Douglas. Great spin on his curveballs. Fastball that gets up into the 90s. 0-2 home. Good breaking ball. Swing and a miss. McCammon down on strikes and 3 pitches. And a good start for Douglas out of the pen. Third time McCammon has struck out. And there's 2 away for Jalen Evans. It has helped today for the Wingate hitters as well. Not taking anything away from their power, but wind gusts today are up to as high as 20 miles per hour, blowing out toward the outfield. And so some of these high fly balls have had some extra carry on it, specifically in this game, and that has favored this power-hitting Wingate lineup. First pitch to Jalen Evans, who's ball 1 low. The only Wingate batters, it's easier to say the guys that haven't homered because there have been more that have than that haven't. Bradley Hart, Jalen Evans, Jake Corville, and Gavin Grapuso. The only Bulldogs to have not homered in this great game. Ground ball foul by Evans. It's 1-1. 6-run advantage. For the Bulldogs here in Game 2 of this championship series, needing to win to force the, if necessary, game as Douglas misses into the turf. It's 2-1. Bulldogs suffered heartbreak in yesterday's Game 1, losing on Malachi Cloud's walk-off home run. But Jeff Gregory's team has responded very, very well, as he knew they were capable of doing. 2-1 home from Douglas is bounced sharply foul up the third base side. Had extra bases written all over it. Two ball, 2 strike count as Douglas faces his second batter out of the bullpen. Struck out Tanner McCammon on 3 pitches and is trying to get this 6th inning over with. 2-2. Swinging a line drive down the third baseline. It is a fair ball. Evans around first base as the ball goes into the left field corner. Dyer comes up with it and keeps Evans to a 2-out double. A 12th Wingate base hit is the 3rd in this game by Jalen Evans. And a 2-out runner in scoring position for the Bulldogs here in the 6th. Just barely fair, as seen by the third base umpire, Al Creedle. Evans just barely missed a base hit in his previous foul ball down the third base line, and that one just inside the line for a 2-out knock with Neil Griffin at the plate. First pitch below the knees to Neil Griffin. Wingate's offense now has scored double-digit runs in 31 of its 55 games this year. Ball into the turf. Good jump by Evans. He's headed to third. Connolly's throw in time. Nice play by Matthew Connolly. Wingate's third base coach, Brandon Riley, took a glance to the dugout and then signaled for a challenge. Nice throw by Connolly, right on the money, and Evans with a bang-bang play at third base. Wingate's not challenged in this game or in this series yet, and for the first time will. Al Creedle signals up to us at the press box, and Wingate is challenging the play at third base on what was called on the field as caught stealing in the 3rd out of the inning. Official review underway.
You want to chat with me? We can, Chris.
Pretty bang-bang play. Evans, I think, maybe sneaks that hand in there in time on that side angle near the dugout. (11-5) play under review right now with 2 away, potentially 3 away, and the 6th inning over. For more on this Wingate offense that has scored 11 times in the last 4 innings, let's send it down to Ray.
Head coach Jeff Gregory about what was going to be the most challenging part of getting past this Catawba team, and he said, well, they're really fundamentally strong defensively. You see it right there with that play at third base. So they've necessarily taken base hits out of the picture and are just opting for the long ball. Hey, if no one has to make the catch, if no one has to make the play, Catawba's defense can't do anything about it, right? Interesting strategy, but if it works, it works.
Yeah, absolutely. The best defensive team in this league hasn't been able to make the play a few times because of Wingate's power in this second game of the series. Replay review still looking over this play at third base. With Evans in motion on the ball into the turf. Really good throw from Connolly. There's a lot of speed there with Jalen Evans. He's stolen 3 bases in this game alone, and so certainly that's not an easy task, especially when the ball had bounced a little bit away from Connolly. Would be a wild pitch if it goes down as Evans sliding in safely. Trying to go frame by frame to get an idea of whether or not that hand sneaks in there or not. Atkins has the ball there. Evans still not to the base yet. And looking at that angle, I think Evans, you can't definitively see whether that hand is on the base because of Atkins' left foot. Trying to get that other angle to see when the timing is with it all. So some elite effort here from our broadcast crew, and Ian Johnson and Jay West leading this replay review. Trying to go frame by frame, put 2 different pictures together here to whether or not Evans was able to get to third base safely. Remember, call on the field was out with Al Creedle all over it. It's got to be definitive evidence of the safe call of third if they can overturn this. It appears like the call has been made. Potentially. The umpires have left their huddle.
After review, the play at third is confirmed.
Play confirmed. Evans out at third base. A great defensive play from Matthew Connolly to throw out Jalen Evans for the final out of inning number 3. Wingate adds on, though. They compile 3 more runs on 2 swings. Reed Benamati and Bowen Powell. 2 freshmen go yard, and the Bulldogs lead Catawba 11-5 after 6 here on Flow College. (11-5) Wingate as the top of the 7th inning is moments away from getting underway. Catawba jumped out to a 2-0 lead, carrying that momentum that the Indians had built by walking off the Bulldogs in yesterday's Game 1. But Wingate has had several different scoring punches throughout this game. They've scored in 4 straight innings, have the Bulldogs, and they have their largest lead of this second game of this series. 11-5 as the seventh inning begins with a high fly ball out towards center field. Hunter Atkins gives it a ride to Reed Benamati, who goes back near the warning track to make the catch. One pitch, one out for Carson-Newman to begin inning 7. Carson-Newman out of the bullpen in relief of J.D. Little, who goes 5 innings, allows 7 hits, 5 runs, 2 walks, and did not record a strikeout. It's been Carson-Newman since. And Morton's gone an inning and a third scoreless. The only base runner to reach was Logan Dyer, who was walked in that 6th inning. First pitch fastball muscled in for a strike to Jake Dunlap. Dunlap 0 for 3 in this game, 1 for 7 in this championship series. 0-1 fastball runs up and in, and Dunlap swings and misses for strike 2. Top-seeded Catawba has won 15 straight games against conference opponents, counting regular season and postseason play. Swing and a miss. Hart holds on to the breaking ball, and Dunlap's down swinging on 3 pitches, and there's 2 away in the 7th inning. 4 pitches and 2 outs for Carson-Newman here in the 7th. Excellent breaking ball. Now the 2-out batter is left-handed hitting second baseman Ty Hubbard. The Indians suffered a 1-run loss on the road to Anderson, as Hubbard takes inside on a close pitch. The Indians only lost 4 regular season games, one of the best regular seasons in South Atlantic Conference history. 1-0. Good pitch from Morton to level the count. The Indians lost 5-4 in the opener to Anderson on the road on April 3rd, and since April 4th, Catawba has won 15 straight games against SAC foes. Two-one to Ty Hubbard is lifted out toward right center field. Back go the outfielders to the wall. Leaping up is Benamati, and he robs Ty Hubbard of a home run. Not only can the Bulldogs hit home runs, they can rob them as well. Reed Benamati brings back a Hubbard bomb in the 7th inning. How about the center fielder? The best defensive play of this championship series closes a 1-2-3 7th. We'll stretch in game 2. It's all Bulldogs, 11-5. Reed Benamati started the bottom of the 6th inning with a home run. And the next half inning, he ends the 7th, top half of the 7th, by bringing back what could have been Ty Hubbard's 2nd home run of the year. What a defensive play from the center fielder, who will be due up 4th in Wingate's 7th inning here on Flow College. Tell you what, the 9 hitting center fielders, Malachi Cloud and Reed Benamati, have somewhat stole the shows so far in these two games. Certainly Benamati and others have been really good for Wingate in this game, but Clouds walk off yesterday, and now Benamati's homered and brought back a home run as the first pitch of the 7th inning is a hit-by pitch to Neil Griffin. Both teams now have hit 3 batters. Calvin Douglas's fastball runs inside. And that brings Will Farrell to the plate. What a day for Will Farrell, and what a series for this kid out of Charlotte, North Carolina, making just his 7th start of the year. Again, a lot of starts last season. Has not had the same role on this year's team, but boy, oh boy, he has been ready for his moment this weekend. Takes breaking ball on the turf from Calvin Douglas for ball 1. Farrell has drove in 5 runs in this championship series, and he's hit 3 home runs in 7 at-bats. 4 for 7 overall. That pitch bounced way before the plate. Wild pitch will advance Neil Griffin to second base with nobody out. Douglas spiked that breaking ball well before the plate. Two-0 set. Farrell goes around on the check swing. This ball really skips away from Bradley Hart. Rounding third is Griffin, and he'll stop there. Another breaking ball that, or rather, Connolly, the catcher for Catawba, has not been able to handle from Calvin Douglas. And it's a 2-ball, 1-strike count after the swing by Farrell, but another wild pitch has shifted Griffin to third. 2-1 home. Another ball into the turf. Better job by Connolly to block that one, and it's 3-1. Douglas is a heavy breaking ball pitcher. Nearly 60% of the time he goes to his off-speed stuff and works in that fastball that runs into the high 90s, or low 90s, I should say, high 80s. 3-1 pitch is a strike, and he's back in this count with Farrell at 3-2. (11-5) Bulldogs here in the bottom of the 7th. Payoff to Farrell, bounces in the turf. It's a second freebie in the inning. And a 6-pitch walk to Will Farrell has runners on the corners. Now Bradley Hart, time called by Jim Gant. He'll make a second visit to the mound, or maybe a third actually, in this game. And he's going to pull Calvin Douglas from this game. Indians going back to the bullpen. They're trailing by 6. Bulldogs have more pressure applied here in the home half of the 7th inning. Up 6 here on Flow College. Interesting. Andrew Rogers, glad to have you back at McCrary Park, where Wingate has 2 more runners on base in the 7th inning. And will now face Braden Major, who makes his 24th outing of the season. 5'11 senior out of Mooresville, North Carolina, and Mooresville High School. With a 6.3 ERA this season, 24 innings of work, 21 strikeouts for the senior right-hander, who will pitch for the 23rd time in 2026. Only Seth Sharp's 28 appearances are more than Braden Major's this season. 2 on, nobody out. Bradley Hart, the batter, hit by pitch and a walk. It is how Wingate has put 2 more on base in this 7th inning. The Bulldogs have scored multiple runs in 4 straight half innings. They did not score in the first 2 against Casey Gouge, but since have scored 2 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, 4 in the 5th, and then 3 in the 6th inning to lead 11-5. First pitch to Bradley Hart is an inside corner breaking ball from Major for a strike. Fastball, curveball, changeup mixture for Braden Major. Fastball runs into the high 80s. Facing Bradley Hart here in the 7th. 0-1 elevated pitch away. Almost pitch out almost to keep an eye on the runner. Farrell at first base and Griffin at third. 6-run game here on Flow College. Catawba led 2-0 after 2. It's been all Wingate since. Picked to first base. One set, Major offers. Hart shows bunt. And pulled it back for ball 2. Corner is occupied for the Bulldogs, up by 6. Another pick to first base by Braden Major. Talked about this Catawba team having won 15 straight league games. The Indians have not suffered many losses of 5 runs or more this season. Hart bunts it back to the pitcher. Here comes Griffin to the plate. Major can't get the flip there. 12-5 Bulldogs. A little small ball from the power-hitting Dogs here in this Game 2. Hart with a perfect bunt. Major can't make the play. Farrell to second base, and the Bulldogs increase the lead to 12-5. Major tried to glove flip it, and he never got the ball into his mitt. Nine-hitter Reed Benamati bats now. Bunt single, and now Benamati shows bunt and takes inside. So this power-hitting Wingate lineup that has led the league all season in home runs shows a little small ball. To increase the lead here in the 7th, and there's still nobody out. 1-0, Benamati bunts foul. Continuing on with that thought about Catawba having not lost any games, or many games by 5 runs or more. Their worst loss this season was a 10-4 loss at Mount Olive on February 24th. One. Benamati, third base side bunt foul again, and it's 1-2. Catawba's last loss in the regular season was that 15-10 loss at UNC Pembroke on April 21st. 2 worst losses of the year are non-conference losses. The worst loss in league play was 3 different times by 2 runs. 1-2 set by Major. 2 aboard, nobody out. Pitch to Benamati, runs away. 10th-ranked Lenore-Ryan back in late February beat the Indians by 2. Carson-Newman beat the Indians by 2. And this Wingate team beat Catawba by 2 in extra innings in late March. 2-2. Breaking ball hit back up the middle, a base hit. Around third comes Will Farrell. He will come on home and score as Crabtree cuts off the throw. An RBI single from Reed Benamati. And the lead for Wingate is 13-5. The Bulldogs are just pouring it on. Have a series. Reed Benamati, that's 5 hits now in the 2 games this weekend for the freshman center fielder. What a performance from him out of the 9-hole. He's now got 4 runs batted in this series. Leadoff man Gavin Grapuso takes high and in, ball 1. This thing is getting away from the top-ranked Indians. (13-5) here in the 7th. Bunt, third base side. Beautiful bunt by Gavin Grapuso. Major and company had no chance. A second infield bunt single has loaded the bases for the Bulldogs. Farrell and Griffin have scored in this inning. Now Bradley Hart goes to third, Benamati to second with Grapuso at first base for Jake Corville. Jeez Louise, what has happened to this Indians team that had been rolling all season long? They have run into a Wingate team that has been ultra motivated to respond. The Bulldogs have just done that. They have scored multiple runs in 5 straight half innings to lead by 8. Now Major pitches with nobody out, and here's a liner to second. Leaping up and dropping the ball is the second baseman, Hubbard. The only out that's recorded is at second base on a force play. 14-5. Bradley Hart comes in to score. That's a Gold Glover and Hubbard at second base that was unable to snare in that line drive from Jake Corville. It was down as a fielder's choice. It was going to be a tough play to make. So Grapuso out on that fielder's choice. Benamati's at third base. And the Bulldogs in a run rule scenario here. A base hit or a fly ball to the outfield could seal a run rule victory in this second game of the championship series. But when Powell takes away. Hit by pitch, walk, single, 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 and a fielder's choice is how this 7th inning has gone for the Bulldogs, who have scored 3 runs or more in 3 straight half innings. 1-0. Ball well into the turf by Braden Major, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Major sets, and the pitch clock expired. 3 balls and no strikes. It's multiple pitch clock violations on this Catawba staff today. They have been all sorts of rattled by this Wingate, this high-octane and powerful Wingate offense that's blasted 6 home runs, but also has several bunt singles in this game. 3-0 home. Powell swings away and lines it foul. Again, run rule is in play here in the 7th inning. Catawba, because they are the visiting team in this game, will not get another chance to bat if the Bulldogs score once more here in this 7th inning. 3-1. Powell fouls it back, and it's 3-2. That would do great things for Wingate as well. Their bullpen would not have to throw some warnings, and the same with Catawba. Heading into this Game 3 that is close to happening. 3-2 is off the plate. A changeup left outside, and Bowen Powell draws a walk. And the bases are loaded for the Bulldogs here in this 7th inning, needing 1 run to force this winner-take-all game. Corville to second base. Benamonte still at third as Tanner McCammon stands in. This Bulldogs offense has compiled 14 runs on 15 hits. In the second game of this championship series, everybody has a hit. Breaking ball low to McCammon, it's ball 1. What's most impressive, I think, about what this offense has done for the Bulldogs is that the first 4 hitters in the order all each have 1 hit. But then 5 through 9 have combined for the other 11 hits in this game. Line drive through the left side, a base hit. The Bulldogs will walk off Catawba. Everybody's going to keep running, but the game is technically over. A second run will score from Jake Corville because Bowen Powell was running from first base, and the Bulldogs will walk off Catawba in run rule fashion. How about the Dogs offensively? They run away from top-seeded Catawba to win 16-5 in the second game of this championship series. The Bulldogs score a bunch of runs. They score 15 times over the final 5 frames of this game, multiple runs in each of those games to collect a run rule victory of top-seeded Catawba in the second game of this championship series. What a performance from Jeff Gregory's crew, and what a response after they were walked off last night. You thought all the momentum was with the Catawba Indians. Wingate said not so fast, and they compile a 15-run, 16-hit performance to take Game 2 of this series in run roll fashion. The final score is 15-5. Your pitchers of record are the starting pitchers in this game. Casey Gouge suffers his first loss of 2026 in this game. He went 4 2/3 and allowed 9 hits and 8 runs in this contest with 6 strikeouts. J.D. Little is Wingate's winning pitcher in this contest to help the Bulldogs run rule the Catawba College Indians. Standing down in the field is Ray Anadicro with Victoria's head coach Jeff Gregory.
Thanks so much, Andrew. Jeff Gregory, relentless offense through 5 innings. How do you feel about this performance?
I'm proud of them. They just came in and it's kind of what we've been preaching all year long, just try to win your at-bats. And we squared up a lot of baseballs. We had several innings, obviously in a row, where we scored. And we just kept putting pressure on them, The guys did a phenomenal job. And I think we did a really good job from a defensive standpoint and a pitching standpoint of managing the game and managing innings. And we kept momentum on our side, and we were able to, put the ball game away.
6 bombs. What got into your squad?
I don't know. I think they just put a lot of really good swings on it, and it's a lot of fun to be on the side of that.
And Will Farrell, you pointed him out to us pregame that he's just been a guy all season long that has just worked so hard. What does it mean for him to have such a big game in this stage?
I think it's awesome. He's an example of just staying ready to go, and when your number gets punched, you come through. And I think that's what this sport's about. I think about the idea about being a great teammate and being whatever the team needs of showing up and doing it. And I think I'm so proud of him, and I think it's awesome that he's having those moments and stuff like that.
So you're getting a little emotional about him. He's just been an ultimate teammate for you. What's making you so emotional in this moment?
It's been 5 years, and he's invested, and he's been great, and you build relationships with guys and stuff like that, and over time, and when they have those moments, you share them with them. So it's kind of what it's about.
A winner-take-all Game 3. What's in store for this one?
I don't know. 2 good teams matching up. Catawba's a phenomenal team. You know that. You feel like it's going to be a battle. You feel like it's going to be tough, and they're going to respond in the right way, and we got to be able to respond in the right way, and we'll see what happens.
Jeff Gregory, thank you.
Thank you.
Back up to you, Driz.
Thanks, Rana, and again, that's what it's all about right there. An emotional head coach, Jeff Gregory, after this 15-5 victory. Happy that his team wins, but also happy to see the performance that Will Farrell had in this game. A 5-year player has come up clutch in this championship series. Homered yesterday and then blasted 2 more in this game, and his home runs came in consecutive at-bats in the 4th and 5th innings that helped this Wingate offense are up for 15 runs. Randy DeCrow standing by with our player of the game, Will Farrell.
Game, Will, no doubt about that. And 2 kind of no doubters there. Just how good does it feel to get 3 across the last few days?
All glory to God. I would just like to thank my teammates and my coaches. I mean, there's a special group of people in this dugout, and, you know, we got 1 more to win, so we're not done yet, but thank you.
Knowing your back's against the wall and be able to come up big in a spot like that, just what does it mean to you, and what were the emotions like in that moment coming back into the dugout knowing you came up big?
It was awesome. You know, we got an underdog mentality. That's what Wingate is born and bred on. I mean, when they won the national championship, they were underdogs in everything they did. So no one cared about them, but they made everyone care about them. So
you've been a part of this program now for 5 years. Just what has it meant to come up big in this stage in particular in the playoffs?
It means the world to me. I mean, again, I'm so blessed to be a part of such a special group. I got great friends. I got great coaches, great leadership around me. So I really loved around here, and I love everyone I'm around.
Can you give us some insight into the energy of this team going into the final winner-take-all game?
We ain't done yet. Thank you.
Thank you, Will. Triz, back up to you.
Thanks, Rand. A great interview with Will Farrell down on the field after a 15-5 victory for the Bulldogs in this second game of the championship series. Let's take you through this fun contest. Catawba jumped in front early on in this game. Hunter Atkins picked up where he left off yesterday. RBI single in the opening inning, and then Logan Dyer scored a run on a fielder's choice, and the Indians led 2-0, but the Bulldogs answered. First time they scored was in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Jake Corville ripped a 2-run single to left to level the game at 2. The Indians answered right back. Logan Dyer's second RBI was a single to right field to make it 3-2 in the 4th inning. But from this point on, it was all Wingate. Will Farrell's first of 2 home runs started the scoring in the 4th, and then the home run party was on after that. Tanner McCammon began the home run party in the 5th with a 2-run shot. 2 batters later, Neil Griffin made it 7-3 with a home run off the scoreboard. And then next batter, Will Farrell, went yard for the second straight at-bat as him and Griffin went back-to-back, and the Indians trailed 8-3, but cut into it. A 2-run Matthew Connolly double early in the 6th inning made it 8-5, but the Bulldogs went on to score the final 7 runs of the game. Reed Benamonte opened the 6th inning with his second home run of the year, and then Bowen Powell, 2 batters later, followed up with his 12th home run of the year, and the Bulldogs led 10-5. Bradley Hart and company added on to it later on in this game as well. Bradley Hart scored on a bunt single, scored a run, and then down the stretch, Tanner McCammon's single through the left side is what seals this contest for the Wingate Bulldogs. Once again, J.D. Little, the winning pitcher for the Bulldogs, his 4th win of the year, while Carson Morton gets a 6-out save with this game ending in 7 innings, 2 scoreless for Morton to get his 2nd save of the year and strike out 2 Catawba Indians. Many players contribute to this one. 3 different Bulldogs drive in 3 runs, and 5 different guys had multi-hit days for a Wingate offense that pours on 15 runs on 16 hits to run rule Catawba 15-5 in Game 2 of this championship series. That sets up a winner-take-all Game 3. It'll come in the next 45 minutes here from McCrary Park. Stay tuned from Asheboro, North Carolina. We bring you the winner-take-all game in just over a half hour here from McCrary Park on Flow College.